Hey, what's up? Yet again, it's been a while since I've posted a video. I had an idea late last year that I wanted to do sort of like monthly check-ins to, I guess, hold myself accountable to be more productive month to month. Uh, Saying the word accountability when it comes to creating art feels kind of a little too harsh, like you should be held accountable if you do something bad. I can't think of a softer word for accountability. I don't know. I just wanted to do monthly check ins. And in January, I did not do very much. And I felt the instinct to sort of quietly uh, give up and not do the thing I had said only to myself inside my head that I would do. But I think maybe I will, I don't know, learn and grow more from actually following through, even though this video is going to be very short and uninteresting. I'm also going to include a little studio tour, I guess, of my space, just because the video is going to be really short without it. And I don't know, I felt like it. It felt like something to do. I don't know. So if you're interested in that, you can stay. Anyway, this little sketch that we're watching right now, I did this morning. So this is actually a February piece of art. So it's kind of wrong that it's in the January video, but I needed some active art making to put in this intro part, I guess. Anyway, well, let's move on. So like I said, I don't have very much to show for January, and most of what little I did is in this little tiny sketchbook that I started in August of last year and just did one drawing in it, and then it just sat in a drawer until January. I mostly picked it back up because I got this rainbow pencil from the museum gift shop of all places. And so if anyone knows where I can get these that isn't a museum gift shop, I love to order more. They're really fun. It feels kind of like a cheat code to get really fun and interesting looking sketches without having to have any additional skill. So there's just a small sampling of really loose, sketchy stuff in here. Sketches in a sketchbook, who would have thought? I think this page is the end. Yeah, and then this is from this morning. I've got this little cross-stitch beetle that I did because I needed to fill a little small space on my wall. I've got these two Bob Ross paintings. I had the idea in mid-December to do like 12 days of Bob Ross paintings, and as you can see in the past nearly 2 months, I've done 2. Oh, and I have this little guy I did. It's a Nug from Dragon Age. I played the most recent Dragon Age game in November and December, so I just painted this little wood block to hang above my coat hanger. Welcome to the studio tour. Feels a little weird to call it that just because it's not much of a tour, and because this is less of a studio and more of a cobbled together arts and crafts office, I guess. I did want to film this though because I both knew that the art portion of the video was going to be very, very short, and I just kind of finished decorating this room recently, even though I've lived here for a couple of years. I'm really fortunate to have this whole room to use for this purpose, but it's still, I have a hard time calling it a studio because, I don't know, that feels so official, but there's an easel in here, so it's kind of a studio. I waited till the perfect time and I'd have all these little rainbow spots on my wall from the little crystal I hang on the window. Here's a computer desk. It's where the computer lives, where I do computer things. I have this little bed and blankie up here for the cats to sit on to try to encourage them to sit there instead of directly on the keyboard, and it works about 40% of the time. I semi-recently got one of these extra wide office chairs to like sit cross-legged in and stuff, and I really love it. This right here is about the bulk of my half-hearted attempt at any cable management in this room. I've got two little hooks for my headphone and game controller, and then the rest of the cables just kind of they're doing what they're doing. Let's be honest here. This is not an aesthetic setup. A very important piece of furniture in this room, this crusty old box that Pigeon likes to sit in. And here's my big old easel. It's pretty hefty. It's nice. I got it at an estate sale for like $20. Here's the reason most of my footage is really wobbly. I mean, today it's wobbly because I was holding the camera in my hand, but this is my table mount thing and it's fully tightened, but yeah, that's fully tightened. So that's why it's wobbly. This is my main art desk. It's a standing desk from FlexiSpot. It's kind of the smallest one they have. I was on a budget. Here's my little cup of brushes. Here's my dirty paint palette. Here's my little display and storage shelf that I really like because it doesn't take up too much space. At the bottom, I've got like bigger sketchbooks and some panels and paper and whatever. In the middle, I've got these really perfectly organized junk buckets that I need to do something with, and I was gonna clean them up before I filmed this video, but let's be real and raw and honest. I'm never gonna clean them up probably. Here's all the paints I mostly use. Nice little portable bucket. They are primarily the Artist Loft brand from Michaels. I found that that's kind of my favorite because they're really chalky and matte and you can draw over them with colored pencils. BD1 is my favorite Star Wars little guy, and this kit is really expensive, but my sister lucked out and found it for 50% off because the box was all messed up, so hooray. As you can see, I really love trinkets and fake succulents. Accidentally ended up with some lens flare orbs on this one. Here's my little three-tiered rolling cart that I feel is necessary to have as an artist. I actually never had one until very recently, so I'm actually an artist now. It's just full of all the stuff I more commonly use, I would say day to day, as if I'm making art every day, but all the stuff I need like to grab really quickly. I've got a bunch of these little 2-ounce paints from Target. They're also really chalky and matte finish, which I like. Here's my nasty, neglected jelly gouache set. Next to that, we have these particle board shelves that weigh like 8,000 pounds, and they've just got like notebooks and sketch pads and whatever in there. My iPad that's just hanging out here waiting for me to buy a new charging cord. I've been getting really into cross stitch over the past like year or so I put this little shelf up here to put my in progress works up here to try to shame myself into working on them more. I did finish this one though, so have finished one. And this bug. Another shelf with some randomly placed trinkets on top and these little buckets inside. This one's just, I don't know, got a bunch of watercolors and whatever. I've got, oh, Bean's here. Little dice tray full of dice. Rest in peace to my quarantine Zoom Dungeons and Dragons group, which I think has officially ended at this point. It just kind of, it sputtered out. It's gone. Just a bunch of wood panels that I haven't painted anything on yet. More random sketch pads and notebooks and paper towels for cleaning. In these drawers, I have a lot of extra paints and stuff stashed that wouldn't fit in my bucket. In fact, there's probably a lot of technically nicer quality acrylics down in here that have just been kicking around for a long time, but apparently I really like the cheap ones. Here's my singular living plant in my home. I wish I had a bunch of plants, but Pigeon will chew on them if I had them. And since this one is encased in glass, it's perfect. This little guy is one of my most prized possessions. When I was a kid, there was a store at the mall that just had like a bunch of wizards and swords and stuff in it. And then they also had these Windstone editions creatures. And I always really wanted one, but they're pretty expensive, especially for a child. And I found this one a couple years ago at a thrift store for like $8 because it's in plain view and I feel like I have to address it. This is my jar of fallen whiskers that I collect. If you also collect whiskers, let me know in the comments. And if you think this is weird and gross, people have already told me that. But yeah, that's all. I don't know if anyone found this interesting, but I like seeing people's spaces where they create, so I figured I would share, and Bean's here too. So thanks for watching. Bye.